Well, I'm out here making some char cloth, running low on a lot of my bushcraft materials, and thought I'd make this fire. And while I'm waiting for that to burn down, I wanted to review the accipiter because I've shown it a lot, but I haven't actually given a proper review of why this knife is the way it is. So let's do a good review of the accipiter Bowie, along with some of the idea and philosophy behind the design. So here, the ideal carry or combat Bowie, in my opinion. First of all, you've got a shortened length of blade. It's only 8 inches, so it's not like the 9, 10, 11-inch long Bowies that can be hard to integrate in with a modern day combat system. This one will fit in with you. It's about the size of a Randall or a K-bar. You got your centered point. Watch how the point moves right through the center of the handle. That allows for very powerful thrusts. This can penetrate through a lot of material and a lot of objects. Then we've got this belly that's not too accentuated, but it's a little bit flatter. That is going to be really helpful because the tip will be making contact when you do a snap cut. A lot of times with a snap cut, the belly hits first, and that can push in material rather than slicing through material. With an abbreviated belly on the edge, when you do a snap cut, what's actually going to be contacting is right there towards the tip, and it's going to penetrate in a lot better. Now you've got the recurve section here. We all know from the kukri that recurves sink in, they bite in because of their curve, because of the extra mass, because of the distance it is from the pivot point and how quickly it's moving. The recurve there, like a kukri, chops in, and it's great for chop, bang, things like that. And then you've got your recurve in here, and that's my favorite section because utility-wise, this section is great. It's where you can capture material and just start to plow through it. As you're moving through, the edge here is going to be biting into the material, so it's just especially effective when you're doing any sort of cuts like this. And combative wise, if you're doing some defensive close in movements like this is the part that's going to be engaging whatever you're intercepting and slicing in deeply, making an opening for the next move. Going back, we've got the guard. It's kind of a Randall style double guard. Not so big that it gets caught up in stuff. I've never had this get caught up here in the woods, but not so small that it's useless. It actually is really good for guarding your hand and stopping your hand from going up onto the blade. Feel really confident, full power thrusts, both forward and reverse grip with this knife because of that quillion. Now, look how comfortable that is. Look at the curvature. It moves right in as if the guard is part of the handle. You grip like this, it's very comfy. Again, very comfy in forward grip, very comfy in reverse grip. There's nothing abrading or hurting my hand. There's no hard edges. Not even on the edge of this are there any hard edges. I did that all on purpose to make it so this knife wouldn't be harming you if you're using it full power, thrusting, whatever else you might be doing. So that's all dehorned all through there. There's no sharp edges, and it makes a really comfortable grip. Then of course you have the handle. Now, in addition to being a nice looking curly maple, and I've got the fish here with brass that goes through, that properly weights the whole thing, and also it looks nice. See, I like the weight to be just in front of the guard for a bigger knife like this, so it's got some chopping ability. See that? Just right in front of the guard. That's what I like. Now, the handle here has this contour and especially this dip down at the end. That's kind of like the gas pedal. What that does is when you're doing a chop, you kind of free float through here, and when you grip down there, just the grabbing motion gives that extra speed at the end for a snap chop. Or when you're doing a bigger chop, you can choke back there and get that momentum. Now, I know all this because I've been using this knife every day for a year. I've took it on 2 camping trips so far. I've processed a pheasant and a rabbit with it. So it's been with me for a year, and I have been testing it the whole time, and I'm really pleased with it. So it's a good everyday utility knife, but it's also a great combat knife, which is what it was designed for. So now let me just illustrate a few of those advantages and movements out here in the woods. There's some underbrush I need to clear anyway, so we're going to use this knife, and I'm just going to show you some of its effectiveness in kind of a real life application. So just that snap cut type idea here. All right. Notice how clean and nice that cut is. And that is just with the very, tip section of the knife. Super effective cutter. Same tree here, split at the bottom so we're not, taking out a bunch of them. Now I'm gonna put some wrist into it, use that recurve section. We're gonna treat this kind of like a tatami mat here. See how finely it's cutting those. It's actually hard to cut something this thin because there's not a lot of resistance. It bends back and forth. But again, just clean cuts. And then the recurve section. See how nicely that works through the wood there? See how once it gets here to the curve, it just bites through because the curve is pulling into the material. That's why I love this for making tent stakes, something like this. So comfortable, and it bites in so deeply. Making a stake, or you can roll it to make a notch, which is great. You don't even need a saw. You roll it back and forth one way, and you roll it back and forth another way, and you can actually make a notch just by rolling inside of that hollow section there. And do it more and more and more so, but you can see the beginnings of it and how nice that is. Like I said, you can see the beginnings of it. So that's capture, pull through. This is heavy chop. Towards the tip is just that snap cut, and then of course the tip here is for thrusting. See if I can find a dead piece of wood to practice that out. Well, it's not really a suitable test because parts of this are really pithy, but just for fun here. Okay, so clearly that's not a solid piece of wood. There's that. So there, I ran into a solid piece of wood. But you can still see the blade is still sticking in there pretty good. And there's a real solid piece of wood. But if it's taking that much effort to get out, it's penetrated quite well. There's another. So, we are getting good center line energy here. Tell by how it's stuck. So there's just a little something about how the tip of the accipiter works. My fire's all burnt down. Time to get some breakfast. I'll check and hopefully that turned out well. But thanks for watching, guys. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment, share. Hit the notification button so you know when more videos are coming out. And I'll be back with some more knife stuff in the future. So there's the accipiter, and I appreciate you watching.